There are moments when your mind becomes clear, not because everything in your life is resolved, not because all uncertainty disappeared, but because for a short period, the internal noise stopped. Your thoughts slow down, your reactions soften, you feel steady instead of scattered. And in that moment, you experience relief. But relief is not the same as stability. Most people chase clarity as if it were the final goal. They meditate for it, they reorganize for it, they reset for it, and when they feel it, they assume they've arrived. But clarity is not the destination, it's feedback. It shows you what your mind feels like when it is not overloaded. It is a reference state. The real question is not, how do I get clarity? The real question is, how do I keep it? Because if clarity doesn't turn into structure, it fades. And when it fades, you return to the same patterns. Constant engagement, mental rehearsal, overanalysis, emotional reactivity, digital overstimulation, internal pressure to respond to everything. Clarity feels powerful because it exposes contrast. You suddenly notice how loud your mind normally is. But awareness alone does not change behavior. Stability requires intention. There is a difference between experiencing calm and building stability. Calm is temporary. Stability is intentional. Calm happens. Stability is maintained. So what comes after mental clarity? First, conscious awareness of friction. When your mind is clear, you can finally see what drains it. You notice how many open mental loops you carry, unfinished conversations, future problems, imagined scenarios, unnecessary internal explanations. You begin to see how often your attention gets pulled without your permission. That awareness is critical because you cannot stabilize what you don't see. Second, reduction of cognitive load. Most people try to increase discipline. They add routines, they add systems, they add productivity tools. But mental stability rarely comes from adding more. It comes from removing excess, fewer inputs, fewer decisions, fewer unnecessary reactions. Your brain was not designed for constant stimulation, continuous scrolling, continuous updates, continuous notifications, continuous comparison. When your nervous system never gets a break, clarity becomes rare. Reduction is not minimalism for aesthetic reasons. It is cognitive protection. When you reduce inputs, you reduce internal processing. When you reduce processing, you reduce tension. And tension is what erodes stability. Third, regulated response. Clarity shows you your reactive patterns. Stability requires interrupting them. You do not have to respond immediately. You do not have to react to every message. You do not have to mentally explain every emotion. Non-reactivity is not suppression, it is controlled response. It is the ability to create a gap between stimulus and decision. That gap protects energy. Most mental exhaustion does not come from life events. It comes from reaction to life events. Every reaction consumes energy. Every internal argument consumes energy. Every defensive explanation consumes energy. When you reduce reaction, you preserve clarity, and preserved clarity becomes stability. There is another layer here. Many people tie their identity to mental engagement. They believe being constantly alert means being responsible. They believe overthinking means being prepared. They believe staying busy mentally means staying ahead. But constant engagement creates chronic tension, and chronic tension slowly becomes exhaustion. You can function in that state. You can succeed in that state. You can even appear high-performing in that state. But internally, you are burning fuel continuously. Stability requires a shift in identity. Your value is not measured by how constantly your mind works. You do not need to mentally rehearse every possible outcome. You do not need to anticipate every risk. You do not need to stay mentally activated to be competent. When you detach your worth from constant mental output, your nervous system relaxes. And when your nervous system relaxes, clarity lasts longer. There is rhythm in a healthy system. Engage, recover, engage, recover. If recovery disappears, clarity becomes an exception. If rhythm returns, stability becomes baseline. This week is not about chasing another clear moment. It is about protecting the one you already experienced. Notice where your clarity collapses. Is it after scrolling? After comparison? After overcommitting? After internal criticism? You don't need a dramatic life change. You need micro adjustments. Delay one response, silence one notification, leave one thought unresolved, allow one imperfect action. Small reductions prevent large instability. Mental stability is not passive. It is disciplined awareness repeated daily. Clarity gives you the glimpse. Structure gives you the continuity. When clarity becomes your baseline, your decisions become calmer. Your reactions become measured. Your focus becomes sharper. And from that state, real prosperity begins. Because prosperity requires internal steadiness. And steadiness is built after the noise stops. There is another consequence of unstable clarity that most people ignore. When your mind moves constantly between noise and relief, your decision-making becomes inconsistent. You don't notice it immediately, but subtle instability affects how you choose. On overloaded days, you decide from urgency. On clear days, you decide from logic. On reactive days, you decide from emotion. And when decisions are made from fluctuating mental states, your direction becomes unstable too. Stability is not only about feeling calm, it directly affects performance. When your internal environment is steady, you think longer term. You evaluate more objectively. You respond instead of reacting. But when your clarity collapses repeatedly, you begin to doubt your own judgment. You overcorrect. You second-guess. You revisit decisions unnecessarily. That cycle creates internal friction, and friction drains momentum. Mental stability protects cognitive consistency. Consistency protects direction, and direction is what builds progress over time. Prosperity, in any area, requires sustained clarity, not emotional spikes, not short bursts of motivation. Sustained clarity. When your mind is stable, you stop wasting energy on internal battles. You stop relitigating every thought. You stop trying to manage every perception, and that preserved energy becomes focus. Focus becomes leverage. Leverage builds results. This is why clarity must become structural. Because without stability, even strong insight fades. But when stability becomes your baseline, your mind becomes an asset, not a battlefield. If this resonated with you, write in the comments, "I choose stability," not as motivation, as commitment. Be prosperous from the inside out.